In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these fluffy and creamy scrambled eggs. And I'm going to show you the one ingredient I use. I don't use milk and I don't use water. And we're going to get right into it. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to beat our eggs. So I have 2 extra large eggs that I'm cracking into a small bowl here. And then once I get those eggs into the bowl, I'm going to beat them with my fork for around 30 seconds. You want to beat them generously because you want to incorporate as much air into the eggs as possible. And then once I finish beating the eggs for the initial 30 seconds, I'm going to pause and then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of heavy whipping cream. Regular whipping cream is fine as well. And then once we get that heavy cream into the bowl, we're going to beat the eggs with the whipping cream for an additional 30 seconds until they're both well combined. Now, I prefer to use heavy cream for a few reasons. 1, the higher fat content makes for richer tasting eggs. 2, it gives the eggs a silky, velvety appearance. But more importantly, it helps to limit the coagulation of the protein in the egg whites, which is how eggs end up becoming tough. So now that I've finished beating the eggs and combining the heavy cream with the eggs, I'm going to warm up my skillet. So I'm going to warm the skillet on medium heat initially for around 3 minutes. And then after 3 minutes, I'm going to reduce the heat to medium-low, and I'm going to let it continue heating on medium-low for an additional 3 minutes. And then after 3 minutes have passed, I'm going to add my butter to the skillet, and I'm adding a half tablespoon of unsalted butter, and I'm just going to stir it around a bit to help it melt faster. Now, because butter has a relatively low smoke point, it can burn easily, which is why we held off on adding the butter until after the skillet had been heating up for several minutes. And then once the butter has the foamy consistency that you see on the screen, then you can add your eggs to the skillet. And then you would just continuously stir around the eggs. I'm using a plastic spatula to do so. You can use any plastic or silicone utensil that you have. And you want to continue cooking them on medium-low heat. Assuming you're using an electric stove like I am, it should take you around 3 to 4 minutes to cook these eggs. Maybe around 2 minutes if you prefer your eggs to be soupy doopy. And if you're using a gas or induction stovetop, the cook time may vary slightly. And then about 30 seconds before you remove the eggs, you would salt and pepper to taste. Some folks be doing way too much, adding Creole seasoning, Cajun seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder. All of that isn't necessary for eggs, just salt and pepper to taste. That's all you need. And then after an additional 30 seconds of cooking, you can remove the eggs from the skillet. Now, a lot of folks love to bring up knife skills when it comes to one's cooking ability. Knife skills are important, but I would say what's equally as important is knowing what temperature to cook your food. And a lot of folks be cooking their food on way too high of a heat. And I mean, that stove stays set on hell. They just be burning up everything. And then they wonder why their eggs always come out hard and dry. For the best results with eggs, you should cook them low and slow. And there you have it. And if you would like to see more of these recipes, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.